HS2 wants to redevelop Euston Station in London. They'll submit their plans to Parliament next week. Plans that include 11 new platforms. Camden Council say it'll mean a decade of inconvenience to Londoners and no benefit. And they question how the station will connect to Crossrail 2. Well, we're joined here in the studio by the leader of Camden Council, Cllr Hayward, and by Rupert Walker, who is Euston's Development Director for High Speed 2 HS2 Limited. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Morning.
Cllr Hayward, HS2 needs a terminal in London. This is just, it's a necessary, it may be inconvenient, it may be bad news for people who live in the area while it's being built, but it's necessary.
Actually, the government's missing a massive opportunity here. They're not proposing to redevelop the existing Euston station, which everyone accepts needs work. HS2 and Network Rail aren't talking to each other, so we'll effectively end up with two stations in Euston and the opportunity for redevelopment will be lost.
Rupert Walker, is that right? HS2 and Network Rail not talking to each other?
HS2's plans for Euston aren't just about delivering a great transport interchange. They're about really making Euston a place for everyone, with shops, restaurants and cafes, somewhere that people can come and work, live and play. Our plans we are working with Camden and Network Rail very closely as we develop the plans for Euston Station,
but not closely enough.
HS2 is only a small part of the jigsaw at Euston. It's a massive site. You couldn't deliver the project all in one go. It will take many years to deliver all of the parts of the picture at Euston. And HS2's plans that we've launched in the last day or so are just the start. We're working very closely with Network Rail and TfL and the GLA.
Cllr Hayward.
They're not thinking about it as a whole site. Crossrail currently isn't included in the plan, so will mean even greater demolition. The plans on the table only deal with the high-speed rail platforms. They don't deal with they don't even deal with the improvement of the existing station. This is a massive missed opportunity.
Can you explain to those of us who are not familiar with the site? Are you saying that the existing Euston station just stays there and is effectively unchanged as a result of this?
A couple of platforms on the west-hand side, and many of your listeners will use Euston Station regularly, will go over to high-speed rail. But fundamentally, the station as it is, which is really poor for passengers, a massive barrier in the Euston community, and actually leaks, is not in the redevelopment programme.
OK, so can I just check? So your complaint is, sure, you need to do this, but do it properly and redevelop the whole site?
I would actually prefer they didn't do it at all, but they must work together. And actually, this is ministers' responsibility. This is a major national infrastructure project. Ministers should take responsibility for getting HS2 and Network Rail to work together. We don't argue it should all be built in one go. We know that's not feasible. It does need to be planned as a single project.
What is your answer to that, Rupert Walker? Are you just concerned? I mean, you are the development director for HS2, so you might say, look, it's not my business. This is my job. But is there a point that actually there is a bigger picture here that isn't being looked at adequately?
But firstly, Network Rail does have plans in hand and is developing plans for the redevelopment of the Network Rail side that Cllr has just mentioned. And I absolutely agree that there does need to be an integrated plan for the whole site so that we can make Euston
that isn't there
a place
at the moment.
For everybody. There is a plan, and the Council has published the Euston Area Plan, which sets out the framework for what we could do at Euston. And Network Rail is involved with working with HS2 Limited as well to try and help deliver that plan through several stages. And HS2 is the first part of that journey.
OK, but clearly the integrated plan isn't there at the moment.
It is. The Euston Area Plan, which Network Rail has played a part in and Camden has led the development of, is available on Camden's website, and we are all working together closely to ensure that it can be delivered.
What can you do about it, Cllr Hayward?
HS2 and Network Rail need to come together and work together. It's not true to say that there is a plan by those two public sector bodies to redevelop Euston Station. There is a planning framework within which they could build, but until ministers take responsibility to bring them together, the station will not be planned in one go. And as it stands today, Network Rail do not have plans for the redevelopment.
And Camden Council, can you do anything about it? I mean, is it within your power at all?
We are trying to lobby government and work with the Mayor of London's office to make sure that this massive opportunity at Euston isn't lost. As it stands today, government ministers need to intervene and make this happen.